you guys start without me? Actually, I don't blame you because we have some exciting news to talk about today. Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Lukas Engström and in today's video we are gonna talk about why the rest of the world are talking about Taiwan today. Once again, Taiwan is at the top of yet another world ranking, and this time it's about having the lowest economic impact of COVID-19. During the second quarter of 2020, Taiwan only saw a 0.6% decrease in the national GDP, whereas European countries such as Spain, France, and the UK are down around 20% compared to last year. Now, I don't want to take any credit of this myself, but ever since I asked you to support me by watching my ads a little bit longer, my ads revenue has gone through the roof. Because the longer you're watching my ads, the more money I will actually get from the advertisers, which has made it possible for me to continue going on all these trips and adventures, continue making more videos about discovering new amazing places all around Taiwan, and to keep that GDP up and running. All jokes aside, thank you all so much for all the support, especially during these last couple of months where you have been watching my ads a little bit extra. As you can see, it makes a huge difference for me and my channel, and I'm super grateful for every extra second that you watch my ads. So back to the report, and as you can see, Taiwan is at the top of the list over the countries which has had the lowest economic impact of COVID-19. And trust me, the rest of the world is paying attention to this as well. I've personally been contacted by several people who, due to the current situation in their home countries, have been thinking about leaving their country, a country where they grew up in and in the beginning of the year had no plans whatsoever of leaving. But as things have developed, they have realized that their own governments don't really have that much control on what's going on right now. A few people have even lost their jobs and they've more or less been forced to look elsewhere to see if they can restart their life somewhere. And where do they look? Taiwan. Taiwan has been doing pretty much everything right this year, and while New York Times are still reporting over 36,000 daily cases in the US, which by the way is a higher daily average than their entire first wave up until June, Taiwanese media are more focused on the second biggest disappointment happening in China this year. Okay, I don't want to spoil the movie Mulan to anyone that has not yet seen it, but do you know what the dragon Mushu and a Taiwanese lockdown have in common? They don't exist. Okay, back to the report. Man, I go off topic so fast. It shouldn't come to a surprise to anyone that the entire world has been looking at Taiwan pretty much the entire year. Now, I don't have any official numbers for this, but I think it's pretty fair to say that never in the history of mankind has more people wanted to come to Taiwan. Except for, you know, the Japanese colonization, and then the Dutch colonization, and Spanish one, and then we have So, as I was saying, people from all over the world has always wanted to come to Taiwan, and this year is not an exception. Therefore, I want to help the rest of the world who might already be planning on leaving their old life behind and to come here trying to live in, according to my 100% biased opinion, one of the best countries in the entire world. But before you come here to Taiwan, there's one thing you must have. One thing that you need to know before coming to Taiwan. There's only one thing, that's it. So please try to pay attention for the rest of this video, and then you will have plenty of time to come here and hopefully thank me in person one day. So, is it that Taiwanese people are among the friendliest, if not the friendliest people in the world? Nah, you don't have to know that before you come here. You will probably figure that out by yourself the first day you're here in Taiwan. Is it that life here is super safe and super convenient? Nah, you will figure that out yourself as well. However, with that said, I am planning on making videos on those two topics specifically. So now would be a great time for you to hit that subscribe button and to hit that bell to get notified as soon as I release new videos. So, accept all the paperwork, accept the work permits, the visas, the COVID-19 test, and all that boring stuff that you actually would need before you come here to Taiwan. I truly believe that there's only one single thing you need before coming here to Taiwan. The one thing that you need is a place to stay. Might sound super obvious, but yet so complicated. Let me explain. When I first came here to Taiwan over 10 years ago, I made countless mistakes trying to find my first apartment here in Taiwan, and for the first 2 years, I suffered tremendously and I lived in super bad living conditions. And I'm only talking about the apartment now. I'm not even gonna start talking about living with my ex for 2 years. So in an attempt to hopefully help a few fellow foreigners who might be thinking about leaving their home countries and moving to Taiwan, here's my top 5 list of things to think about when finding your first Taiwanese home. Number 1, and I cannot stress this enough, make sure that there's an AC in every room in the apartment. It's very likely that you will end up sharing an apartment with 1, 2, or even more roommates your first time here in Taiwan. When I first came to Taiwan 10 years ago, I was 20 years old and I ended up with a roommate that was 30. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy has a roommate and he's 30 years old. What a loser. Now, my roommate is 32. The point is that the summers here in Taiwan gets extremely hot, and back home in Sweden you would normally sleep with a blanket, and during a hot Swedish summer day you will simply just skip the blanket. But if that is the case and you don't have an AC during a hot Taiwanese summer, you simply just have to skip the sleep. Number 2 is to avoid living on the first floor. Now there's several different reasons for this, but the main 2 reasons is to avoid flooding during typhoon days and to avoid cockroaches pretty much any other day of the year. This is sadly not a 100% guarantee because the Taiwanese nature is extreme, and I have experienced both cockroaches up when I was living on the 27th floor and also flooding during typhoon day on the 9th floor. So living in Taiwan will definitely come with some surprises from time to time, but if possible, try to minimize it by avoiding the first floor. Number 3 is that you should also avoid the 7th floor, and the way this was explained to me when I first came here, they simply said 7th floor is illegal. Which is confusing, but it's also true, oddly enough, at least in some cases. So what this refers to is that in Taiwan there's basically 2 different types of buildings. One is the new modern skyscraper, if you want, with 10, 20, 30 floors, super fancy lobbies, security guards, gym and swimming pool and elevators all the way. A normal modern skyscraper. But then they also have some older, smaller buildings. Still has an elevator, but a lot smaller. No fancy touch bars. It's like transparent plastic that turned yellow in the 90s kind of elevator. And these buildings are originally 6 floors. But what they have done is that they have built a 7th floor on top of the 6th floor, because that's how floors work. So there's an extra set of apartments where there originally should have been an attic or maybe even a rooftop itself. And these apartments are illegal, but also very budget friendly if you are a poor exchange student coming to Taiwan for the first time. I've heard by some poor exchange student friends. But if you want to avoid these, they're very easy to spot. First of all, they will be on the 7th floor. But the second thing is that since the building originally only had 6 floors, the elevator will actually not go all the way up, which is also an expression you can use for whoever person decided that the dragon Mushu should not be included in the new Mulan movie. Number 4 is to find out how the trash recycling works in your building. Trust me, there's nothing worse than to finish moving in and then have literally half the apartment filled with trash and just have no idea how to get rid of it all. The garbage disposal system here in Taiwan is very unique. It's so unique, so I've actually made a separate video about it, which you can check out here. Or you can simply Google Lukas Engström garbage, and hopefully that will be the only video that shows up. And 5, which is actually more or less unavoidable, but it's just something that I think that you should know, and that is that most, at least lower budget Taiwanese apartments don't come with a proper kitchen. Most of the time what you will be getting is one electronic stove right next to the sink. I thought that this was a scam, and I definitely thought that it was gonna trick me into taking yet another, a new, never lived in before illegal apartment here in Taiwan. But it's actually not that common to have a proper kitchen here in Taiwan. So what do you actually eat then, Lucas? You might ask. To be honest, the last couple of months we have actually been eating these very delicious peanut candy that one of my subscribers sent to me from YONGHE, together with 4 liters of motor oil. So my lovely scooter does get some well-deserved treats. So now we're both super motivated to go out on more scooter rides and to discover even more beautiful, amazing places. I've also received some Taiwanese nuggets here from another subscriber, which I'm super grateful for, because these ones, I think we received 3 or 4 bags of these peanut candies, but Yuan literally finished the first 2 the first week. So I've actually been hiding this last bag for the last couple of weeks, just so I'll be able to include it in my video and to properly thank you. And if you have something that you want to send me as well, maybe something for my scooter, maybe some Taiwanese snacks, or maybe we could find something we can put in the bookshelf here to fill that up as well, you will have my address down in the description, and there you will also have my social media links, my Instagram, my Facebook, in case you want to reach out and stay updated on my life in between all of these videos as well. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas, starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and I'll see you in the next one. Yuan, I'm done with the video now. Do you want some peanut candy? I've been hiding it for 3 weeks.
For way too long.
You deserve it.
Thank you so much. How's the video?
Pretty good, I think. What do you think?